y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles. On this episode, we're going to cover some of the events of destruction in Kobe from this morning, early this morning. I didn't get a chance to watch it till much later in the day, so I'm not really going to do a review, but I am going to review something that happened at the end of the show that's very important, or potentially very important storyline wise, and that's chaos within chaos. And if you haven't seen the show already, or you haven't seen the main event at least, this is going to be spoiler filled, so go watch that if you're going to and then come back to this video. But basically, here's how it goes. Tanahashi was wrestling Okada for the briefcase for the chance to wrestle for the IWGP Championship at Wrestle Kingdom, and Tanahashi beats Okada. Basically, Tanahashi said, if I can't beat Okada, or I need to be able to beat Okada in order to be able to beat Kenny Omega. So they put on a great match like they always do. These two wrestling each other, you really can't go wrong. They are two of the best wrestlers in the world, and they put on a really good match. What happens afterwards, Jay White, who is in Chaos along with Kazuchika Okada, comes out and he attacks Tanahashi. Now, not only does he attack Tanahashi, he then turns and attacks Okada too. So we're starting to see some of the things that have been foreshadowed since the beginning of Jay White in Chaos. Early on in it, he said if he had the opportunity, he would wrestle Okada for the championship when Okada still had it. And we've seen all throughout the G1 and other shows where he was working a different style, more of a heel style than the rest of Chaos. And we've seen kind of a splintering. Now it's full on a split. He attacks Okada, goes to the outside of the ring, yells at Rocky Romero to give him his chair, who Rocky Romero was on the English commentary. Rocky declines, he pushes him down, takes the chair anyway, starts to attack Okada with it, which brings out, and I feel so bad for the guy, Yoshi-Hashi comes out to make the hot save. He trips on the way to the ring, hits his head off the side of the ring, and basically busts himself open. kind of like a Titus O'Neil at the Greatest Royal Rumble moment. And the reason I feel bad is because Yoshi-Hashi is extremely talented, and I've said it before, they've treated him like an also-ran for so long in the company that he feels like an also-ran. And this really could have been that real breakout moment. I don't think he hurt himself much, but I don't think that's something you want to play in the highlight films. He gets in the ring, Okada attacks him as well, throws a chair on his head. Basically, Okada's left standing Jay White attacks Yoshi-Hashi, hits him and throws a chair at his head. So now we have Jay White's left standing with Okada and Yoshi-Hashi down, and Rocky Romero down on the outside, which brings out Gato. And Gato, historically the hype man for Okada, the manager for Okada, comes out and turns on Okada. He's standing behind Okada, which as soon as he got behind him, I knew what was going on. And wham, hits Okada with the chair. Gato basically aligns himself with Yoshi-Hashi. They come up with a new catchphrase, breathe with the switchblade, and says this is going to be the next generation, or the next guy coming up. So we see, at the very least, Gato and Jay White splintering off from the Chaos group. Now, what happens from here is what's very interesting. Is this going to throw the entire group into chaos, no pun intended? Are we going to see the entire group just disband and go their different ways? Are we going to have two different factions, kind of like we have going on with the Bullet Squad Elite and the Bullet Club Elite and Bullet Club Firing Squad? Are we going to have two factions like that going within the faction? Or is one of the two guys going to be kicked out? Is Okada going to be left on the side? Because if you think about it historically, Chaos is a group of rule breakers. It's a group that basically wants to cause chaos. And I think Okada's at the point where he's transcended it. However, where do you go with that? What happens? Does he join with Tanahashi? Who Tanahashi isn't really aligned with any specific group. We see him do some things with GBH. We see him do some things with Taguchi Japan. So he's more aligned with all the face groups. So does Okada go that route too, kind of like Tanahashi does? Do those two make a superpower team and fight off the chaos? At the very least, I'm going to assume that Rocky Romero is on the side of Okada and Gato is on the side of Jay White, because that's how it's looking to have played out. Yoshi-Hashi seems to be on Okada's side, but that could change. He could leave, like it was being teased up into this, that maybe he would be let go from Chaos to join, with Tanahashi and build his own star. Is that how they do that? Do they splinter him off altogether? Then you have the question of the rest of the group, the other guys. Guys like Ishii, Roppongi 3K, Yano, Goto, and even Jado. Where do they go from here? What happens with them? Does Ishii side with Okada? Does he side with Jay White? Does Roppongi 3K stick with their mentor Rocky Romero, or do they go with Jay White and Gato? Or do they split? Does Sho stay on one side and Yo go to the other? Where does Yano go? Whose side does he take? We've seen where he wants to do some rule breaking, which is more towards what Jay White is doing. So maybe he sticks with Jay White. Goto, we know he's a more honorable guy. He's always been about the honor. So does he go and stick with his friend Okada? Does he join the new group? Or how does it work out? And that's the thing that's really interesting to me on these. This is what, when they do storylines like this is what keeps you coming back. This is what makes you go further. Now, some of the interesting things that play into this, we have two groups in New Japan that are openly looking for new talent. The Bullet Club Firing Squad has put out there that they're looking for the best and brightest. Is that Roppongi 3K? Do they bring them in as a junior tag team to the group? Is that someone like Ishii or Gato Goto? Do they bring them in? Do they take them while there is this dissension and chaos? So, and we also have LIJ, who said they're looking for a cruiserweight to go in there, or a junior cruiserweight, same thing. But they're looking for a guy to go in while Hiromu is injured, someone maybe to go for the Junior Tag League or Junior Best of Super Juniors. So maybe that's where we see the split with Roppongi 3K. Or Sho maybe goes with them, or Yo goes with them. I really think they're going to split up Roppongi 3K sooner than later. I think it's kind of been a little bit foreshadowed by how they treated them in the Best of the Super Juniors, and how during the whole G1 they tagged with other people besides each other. So I think we're going to see that split, and I think we're going to see one goes one place and another goes somewhere else. Maybe one goes to LIJ, maybe the other decides that they're going to join the firing squad. So there's all kinds of interesting angles that can be made out of this. Of course, the thing that's going to be most on the top of your heads is, does Tanahashi get revenge on Jay White? Does Okada get revenge on Jay White? How does this all play out? Who goes with who? Who stays where? What happens from here? What groups are going to be invented? And that's when wrestling's at its best, this is what happens? For every answer you're given, you get 5 more questions. So it's going to be a very interesting period from now up until Wrestle Kingdom, because we're going to start seeing those pieces fall in place to make that Wrestle Kingdom card. I'm willing to bet that Jay White and Okada is going to be held off till that show. Maybe even a 3-way between. Well, no, it won't be a 3-way because Tanahashi will be in the main event. But Jay White and Okada at that show, and I assume at some point Tanahashi and Jay White are also going to wrestle each other. And then what about the other guys? Who is going to go where? Who's going to align? Very interesting time period. These next few months leading into January 4th are going to be very cool, very interesting, very... How should I say this? It's going to be fun. It's going to be full of surprises. I can't wait to see what happens. We have basically 2 different factions in the Bullet Club and Chaos who are somewhat falling apart or fighting within each other. We have guys aligning in different places, going in different alignments, all setting up to go to build to the biggest show of the year, which is still 4 months out right now, because we got October, November, December, and then January, and we're at the end of September right now. So 3.5, 4 months out, and we're starting to see where the chips are falling, what's going to happen, what it's going to build to, and I think it's all going to be really good stuff, and I really enjoy where they're going with this. I like the routes they're going, so I'm intrigued to see what goes on from here. But as of right now, we have chaos within chaos, hence the name of this video, and it's all very interesting to me. Basically, that's all I have to say on the topic. My name is George Coles, and this has been another episode of Heel Heat.